Just when we thought we had seen every kind of drama Love and Hip Hop could possibly serve us, bam! New receipts dropped, shaking the entire reality TV world to its core. And chili, when I tell you this tea is scorching, grab your popcorn because you're not ready for what's coming next. Chrissy Lampkin and Mendeecees Harris, two names you never thought you'd hear in the same messy sentence, are at the center of a jaw-dropping, betrayal-filled, caught-on-camera scandal that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. Behind Yandy's picture-perfect smiles and Chrissy's tough exterior, a storm has been brewing for years, and now it's all exploding into public view. So how exactly did these two even get entangled in each other's messy web? How did Chrissy, the queen of keeping it real, and Mendeecees' Mr. I'm a changed man, end up being whispered about in secret meetings, leaked messages, and suspicious rendezvous that even hardcore fans can't excuse? Baby, buckle up, because it's about to get messy. Let's start from the beginning. Now, we all know Chrissy Lampkin as the no-nonsense diva who does not play about her man Jim Jones. And Mendeecees, the reformed bad boy trying to stay on the straight and narrow, or so we thought. But what if I told you these two go way back, way before VH1's cameras ever started rolling? What if I told you that Mendeecees was floating around Chrissy's world long before Yandy ever put a ring on it? Late-night business deals, mutual friends, and, let's be honest, favors being exchanged behind closed doors. And guess what? Sources are spilling that Mendeecees may have been the one helping Chrissy make some of her trickier problems disappear. Woo. And just when you thought Chrissy proposing to Jim Jones on national TV was bold, imagine knowing that while she was sliding a ring on Jim's finger, there were late-night whispers of someone else lurking behind the scenes. And baby, it gets even worse. Apparently, while Jim Jones was out of town, minding his business, Mendeecees was allegedly seen creeping in and out of Chrissy's old condo. And no, not in broad daylight either. These little business meetings were happening late at night, behind closed doors, when no one was supposed to know. If this was just about contracts and paperwork, why all the secrecy? Now, when Yandy, loyal Yandy, who rides or dies for her man, caught wind of these rumors, she lost it. Yandy doesn't play when it comes to Mendeecees, and even she couldn't brush off the evidence piling up. She confronted him head-on, asking pointed questions. But instead of clearing his name, Mendeecees got quiet. You know the saying, guilty men get silent, and baby, he was quiet as a church mouse. Instead of denying it, he hit her with the classic, "Why you bringing up old stuff? Move." And that's when Yandy knew she had to dig deeper. And let's not forget, Chrissy and Yandy have been throwing shade at each other for years. Chrissy's never respected Yandy, calling her messy, accusing her of meddling in Jim's career. But now, with these new receipts, Yandy was ready to throw all the smoke right back at Chrissy. And girl, she did. Picture this, an exclusive event, cameras flashing, high-profile guests milling around, and here comes Yandy, calm, too calm. You already know that dangerous kind of calm. The kind that comes when someone's about to wreck the whole room. She pulled out her phone, tapped the screen like she was about to order food, and said loud enough for everybody to hear, "You might want to listen to what this person has to say before you start giggling too hard." Pew! The room fell silent. You could literally hear glasses clinking from across the room. Chrissy's fake little smirk vanished off her face like smoke in the air. Now let's talk about this mystery witness that Yandy had lined up. Turns out it wasn't just some random internet troll. It was Dre, a former close associate of Mendeecees, someone who knew all his dirty moves, where he went, who he met, what shady business was happening behind the scenes. And Dre had the receipts, baby. While Chrissy kept trying to sip her drink like she didn't have a care in the world, Yandy tapped play. And that's when Dre's voice filled the room. I personally drove Mendeecees to Chrissy's condo late at night, repeatedly. He always told me, "Keep it low-key, I don't need no extra eyes on me." Boom. The entire crowd gasped. Some people literally burst out laughing because it was so messy and so obvious. Chrissy's drink shook in her hand, but she tried to play it off, rolling her eyes like it was no big deal. But oh, it gets better. Dre didn't stop there. He spilled even more. Mendeecees told me himself that Chrissy's got something over him. That's why he keeps crawling back whenever she calls. Yandy flashed them like Uno cards in Chrissy's face. Messages where Mendeecees and Chrissy were low-key coordinating shady transactions, talking about keeping everything tight and nobody asking questions. Like seriously, tell me, does that sound like just business to you? Chrissy tried to act unbothered, tossing her hair and fake laughing again, but the damage was done. People in the room were whispering, snickering, and you could see it. The tide was turning. Chrissy was losing the room, and then Yandy hit her with the final dagger. If it's all lies, Chrissy, why you looking so damn uncomfortable right now? Boom! Chrissy didn't even have a comeback for that. She grabbed her purse, rolled her eyes so hard they nearly fell out, and stormed out of the room, leaving behind a crowd of shocked faces and a scandal that was about to blow up across the whole internet. Within hours, videos of the confrontation leaked. Twitter exploded. Instagram blogs posted side by side. People were taking sides faster than a Love and Hip Hop reunion taping. But then, the real bombshell dropped. An industry insider came forward. And when I say they flipped the whole table over with their tea, whew! According to this insider, Mendeecees wasn't just sneaking around for late-night talks with Chrissy. Oh no, they were allegedly tied together through something much darker, illegal business dealings. Let's rewind for a second. Everybody knows Mendeecees already did time for drug trafficking, right? But apparently, what the public doesn't know is that back in the early 2000s, before Love and Hip Hop, before the big houses and reality TV fame, Chrissy and Mendeecees allegedly crossed paths in the streets. And not just waving hello, business, dirty business. Chile, the streets are saying Chrissy wasn't just Jim Jones's girl. She had her own deep ties with some serious players, the kind you don't mess with unless you want your life flipped upside down. And according to this insider, Chrissy knows things that could destroy Mendeecees' life if they ever got out. Legal leverage, criminal receipts that could send somebody right back to prison. That's why, allegedly, Mendeecees can't cut her off. That's why he kept crawling back whenever she called. Because Chrissy wasn't just holding a grudge, she was holding a whole damn blackmail file. And baby, this paints the entire scandal in a new light. At this point, everything was unraveling. Yandy had already packed her bags, took her kids, and left Mendeecees high and dry. Sources say she wasn't answering his calls, wasn't replying to texts, nothing. And honestly, can you blame her? After everything she rode through with that man, prison time, court dates, baby mama drama, this is how he repays her? Sneaking around with Chrissy and getting caught up in shady mess from the past? Yandy said, "I'm out." And Chile, the fans were right there with her, dragging Mendeecees up and down every timeline. But it still begs the biggest question. What exactly does Chrissy have on Mendeecees? Because according to Dre, the same witness Yandy exposed at that event, Chrissy has insurance. REAL insurance. Not just screenshots, not just flirty texts, actual documented receipts that link Mendeecees to old criminal operations that never came to light. And if that's true, if Chrissy ever got mad enough to spill it all, Mendeecees could end up right back in a jumpsuit. After the bombshells, the leaks, and the internet dragging everybody involved, one thing became crystal clear. Chrissy Lampkin wasn't just surviving the scandal, she was winning it. Because, baby, while everyone was scrambling, Chrissy was sitting back playing chess while the rest of them were playing checkers. See, this wasn't Chrissy's first rodeo. She's been deep in the game since the early 2000s, rubbing shoulders with major hip-hop players, negotiating her place in rooms most people couldn't even get through the door. And one thing about Chrissy, she never moved without a backup plan. She never let herself get caught slipping without a way to flip the script. That's why even now, after Yandy exposed her shady dealings with Mendeecees, after Dre played that damning voice note, after text messages leaked and videos went viral, Chrissy still wasn't worried. According to more insider whispers, Chrissy allegedly has receipts dating back years, proof of shady transactions, off-the-record meetings, names, dates, amounts, the kind of dirt that could not only land people behind bars, but destroy their reputations forever. And remember, back in the day, Chrissy wasn't just Jim's ride or die. She was involved with multiple major figures behind the scenes, and she built a network off of what she knew. That's why people never cross her publicly. That's why she survived scandal after scandal. Because Chrissy knows how to move in a dirty game and how to stay holding the cards. Meanwhile, Yandy, heartbroken, betrayed, humiliated in front of the world, might have actually made the smartest move she's ever made by walking away when she did. Because if what the insiders are saying is true, and Chrissy really is sitting on a mountain of criminal leverage, then Mendeecees is never getting out from under her thumb. And that man Yandy built a family with, he's been lying to her for years. At this point, the damage is irreversible. Sources say Yandy moved out completely. She took her kids, packed up, and made it very clear she wasn't coming back. And honestly, after everything that came to light, after realizing Chrissy could have been holding secrets over her head this whole time, Yandy might have just saved herself from years of even deeper betrayal and humiliation. Meanwhile, Chrissy is out here posting selfies looking unbothered because she knows nobody's pulling her down without pulling themselves down first. Jim Jones, still silent. Mendeecees, still silent. Yandy, quiet, healing, and hopefully rebuilding. But the streets are loud, honey. The streets are buzzing louder than ever, because now everybody's asking, what exactly does Chrissy have in those alleged files? Why did Mendeecees stay tied to her for so long? How much did Jim know? And most importantly, when is Chrissy finally going to cash in her final card? And baby, it doesn't stop there. The industry insiders are whispering that Chrissy might already be negotiating her next move. Because when you've got that much dirt on people, you don't just sit on it forever. You wait for the perfect moment to make your play. And with the way this scandal exploded across blogs, YouTube, and every corner of the internet, Chrissy knows she's hotter than ever. For all the wrong reasons, but still hot. So don't be surprised if suddenly Chrissy pops up with a new project, a new show, a new tell-all moment. Because she's smart enough to turn even her messiest scandal into a power move. Meanwhile, poor Mendeecees is stuck in a web of secrets, regrets, and betrayal. Stuck knowing that at any moment, Chrissy could decide she's done protecting him and light the whole damn house on fire. And Yandy is free now. Free from the lies. Free from being dragged into Chrissy's shady world. Free to rebuild her life without the constant shadow of secrets lurking over her head. Honestly, sis deserves peace after all this chaos. Final thoughts. What's Chrissy's next move? Will she stay quiet? Or will she finally unleash the nuclear bomb she's been sitting on all these years? And what about Mendeecees? Can he rebuild his image? Or has this scandal permanently shattered whatever comeback he thought he had? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. If Chrissy ever decides to spill everything, whoo baby, the whole love and hip-hop universe is gonna be shaken to its foundation. So stay locked in, because when the next piece of tea drops, you already know we'll be right here, front row, ready to sip it all.